going to put this on silent. Thank you so much.
Day 70. It was taking him a long time, but by day 671, I noticed that he was coming. Oh, I thought he was coming towards me, but he was just placing some deep slate. I decided that I would use my last milk bucket just to do this. I looked down the hallways, make sure the coast was clear. Boom, and I was ready. Alright, I had to go fast before the body fatigue would come back. I decided I wouldn't place it back just in case I needed to get back out. There's some type of redstone and some type of door. It seemed really suspicious since I didn't see anything, but if there was a chest, it would be worth it. I looked and there was a chest. I looked in the chest and there was just nothing of use. It seemed really there was a firework thing. I had to get out immediately. I tried breaking the pressure plate, trying to leave nothing, but I knew I had to get out before someone came. And then I ran. So by finally day 90, I was able to get into the tunnels. Hey, good news. Only one day went by. I don't know what I was talking about, but fine. The cat was out of the bag on day 66. A brutal day that will be remembered.
Only one day went by. Your day is gone. Accept your day. And you will accept death. No. My day. My day. My day. My day.
Hi everyone! Hello, Kabsat Bliss! Amazing Mix Vlog! Hello! Hello, Just Blast! Nakagtambay ako kanina sa iyo, Just Blast, pero nauna ka namang mag-end. Bliss, natapos ko yung Forever Grateful number 22. 22 ba yun? 6 hours and 31 minutes. Basta may bakas ako dun, Kabsat. I-update ko lang si Mr. dahil wala na namang video. Mag-play na lang ako sa inyo. Just Blast, mag-live ka na lang. Magtambay ako ng isang phone. Opo, another plate tayo ngayon, Kabsat Bliss. Just a moment, iset ko lang bago tayo tuluyang makatulog. Katatawag lang kasi nung kaibigan ko eh. Isang oras kami nagdaldalan. Maturugan.
As the director, you must agree. Day 70, I removed
Naman si wow. Muhammad. Inamix Vlog. Queen Perez. Queen Sam Perez. Inamix Vlog. Ano, Just Blast, mag-live ka? Pipilitin na naman mag-live. Magla-live ka ba, Just Blast?
Because the bedroom I was in had named animals in it, which is a dead giveaway that someone cares about them. Don't worry, I wasn't going to.
Sige, i-play na lang kita, Just Blast, kung hindi ka magla-live stream.
I'm not gonna put my actual reaction, but you can probably guess what it was. Moving on to day 76. Don't worry, you'll see what I did to the tent.
Natatapos lang kasi yung mga live video na plinay natin kanina sa live ni Miss Jamie.
And I don't have the slightest clue what my reason was. What was I doing? I think in my head I imagined the tank exploding with water, so I just started flooding the place with water. Then a leak in the system. Day 77. One of the trolls I actually scrapped was one where I replaced the fishing pool with lava. But as the director, you have to make sacrifices. Day 78. Don't worry about what I was doing here. I have hobbies.
Sandali lang ha mga kapatid at ako'y magbubukas lang ng pang-play.
Trust me, this time skip will make sense in a few minutes. But for now, watch the greatest piece of director entertainment. Are the signs like... Oh my god, he's playing Block D.
Kabsat Melinda, naka-live ka po ba? Good evening. Nakita mo na yung plinay ko? Isang live video tsaka videos.
It was fine. Help us, bro. That's why you brought us here. Yo, what a real interaction.
Hello, Kabsat. Melinda. Ito, naka-live ka na. Sige, puntaan na kita. Hala, ano na naman. Ads. Kabsat Melinda. Dali lang, Kabsat, please. Yan, nakaparking na tayo sa'yo. And then, see. Bliss. Sandali lang, Kabsat, Bliss. Mga aso ko na.
Hoy!
Sandali lang.
Hoy! 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 Hoy!
Magkakampi sila kung may hahabulin silang aso, pero pag sila lang dalawa magkaaway.
Okay, let's do a full search. Yeah, in this exact section. Just go around. No, wait, no. That's really cool.
Yo, I hear blocks breaking.
Where?
Here.
Ang lakas pa naman ng boses. Masakit sa tenga.
Yeah, my turn, my turn, my turn, my turn, my turn, my turn.
Ayun na naman. Ito ang aso na to.
Go, go, keep going, keep going.
Okay.
What is it?
Ay, 3 hours pala yun.
Okay, so
It was day 89. And little did you know, I had one last prank. That in the days leading up to this, I was preparing. And after some intense struggles,
Kabsat
when I
Bliss
thought I
ito.
would fail, I managed to create a director disguised void trap that would get anyone.
Opo, yung dalawang malalaki. Yung isang aso namin kasi na brown. Ayaw na lumalapit sa akin yung isang aso namin na black. Sa loso ba? Pero pagdating naman sa aso na dumadaan dyan sa labas, magkakampi naman sila pag tumatahol. Ayan, Kabsat Bliss, ito yung Forever Grateful 23, yung tinambayan ko kanina, tinambayan ni Mr. Madayag. Ayan yan, naka-play. May 237 views, streamed 11 hours ago. 6 hours and 47 minutes, seconds.
Was to, let's just say, wrap up their character arcs. Day 93. I didn't realize how paranoid they actually
Okay.
were until they started stashing something. And like nobody's checking a chest.
Let's go to
Okay, wait, Jumper. You said
Just Blast.
unfortunately, they are now familiar with a tier 1 director like
Oo.
myself. Yo. Day 93.
Tsaka magkaaway kasi sila sa chicks.
And got ready for the funnest
Kaya galit na galit yung brown dahil pag may chicks siya, aagawin ng black na aso namin. Doon nagkaroon ng lamat ng kanilang pagkakaibigan. Para rin palang tao. Seloso din palang aso. Tsaka napapansin ko, pagka malapit sa akin yung black, pinipigilan nung brown. Yung brown kasi yun yung inatasan namin na siya yung chief security dog, which is mapagkatiwalaan kasi namin yan. Pagka umaalis kami, may time na nalilimutan namin ilak ang pinto eh. Hindi siya umaalis, nandyan lang siya sa labas sa may papag dun sa labas. Pero yung black, yun yung gala. Pag wala na kami, aalis din siya. Pag nandito kami, nandito lang din siya. Yun, baliktad naman ugali niya. Just Blast, mag-play tayo ng episode 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Ito, episode 62, Just Blast, 4 hours and 29 minutes. 4 hours and 29 minutes. Sino pa ang pumasok kanina? Si Inamix.
You guys, part of the director riddle is not killing me actually. Walker, we're gonna kill you. Drop your swords! Drop your swords! Drop your swords! As the director, I'm gonna give you one last chance.
Maingay yan.
I know these tunnels. I made these tunnels actually. That's right. I made all of these. Alright, turn off the servers.
Ipasok natin si pangalan niya, Inamix Vlog. Grabe yan mag-away, yung aso namin yan. Maski buhusan mo ng tubig, hindi sila maghihiwalay na mag-aaway. Ang ayaw pala nila ay alcohol. Pagka binuhusan mo, pinaamoy mo sila ng alcohol yun. Pero kung may kaaway silang aso, magkakampi sila, yun lang. Magkakampi naman sila. Okay, Inamix Vlog, going to you, KABSAT. Mag-love shoutout. Maraming salamat din, KABSAT Bliss. Anong oras na sa inyo dyan? 12:24 na ng 12:20 na ng madaling araw pala dito. Amo Mardin, pag hindi ka natulog, kukunin ko yung cellphone mo sa opisina. Para hindi ka makakapag-cellphone bukas. 2 hours pa kayo. Mahaba pala yung piniplay kong video. Okay, let's go to Inamix Vlog. Queen Sam Perez. Inamix Vlog. Ay, morning! So, Hmm, 12 hours pala yung 12 hours. Almost 12 hours yung pagitan. Morning pala dyan. Kala ko gabi. Ay, hindi. Kala ko hapon. Kasi ang asawa ko naman, 6 o'clock ng gabi nila. Doon. Ayun, papakita ko na ito. Ano-play natin at tayo mag-good night na. Ayan, Just Blast. Naka-play yung 4 hours yan. And 29 minutes. Naset ko na. Just Forever Grateful 23 naman si KABSAT Bliss. Ayan. Okay. Hindi ibang play yan. Ibang playlist yan. Ayan, si 88 Cactus. Ay, natapos na pala yung playlist niya. Ito kasing si 88 Cactus. Mabait din yan. Kaya hindi ko nalilimutang i-play. Parang kagaya lang din ni KABSAT Bliss. Okay, si Queen Samperas, dito ka naman. Ayan, inamix. O, ayan Sino pa ba nalimutan ko? Wala naman O, sige, mag-goodbye na tayo. Nakatambay lang ang Mel family. Tsaka si KABSAT dyan. O, ayan ang live mo. Nakatambay lang. Natamsakan ko na yan. 10 Mel family. Magdamag na to. Nakasaksak naman yan. Okay, thank you so much. Ayan. Kailangan ko na lang i-charge yan ito. Anong nakakatawa dyan? Minecraft data? Ano naman yung bawawag? Lumindol kaninang dito sa amin hapon. Thank you din po, KABSAT Bliss. Maraming salamat sa support.
Wala. You turn it on. The moon walks. Turn around.
Wait, over here, over here. Where? It's all right over here.
Dude, this guy is so slippery, bro.
Over here, over here.
Where?
Come on, he's going. Over here, this is running towards.
The director guide things.
tapos na pala si Imelda dun mo.
Oh, thanks. No, no. Yes. No. They didn't turn it on. They didn't turn it on. They didn't turn it on. Oh. Get out of this. Can't lie, I think he's gone. Oh my gosh, so dumb, bro. I mean, it's just
I-off yung data.
where?
Here. Someone's open.
Oh no. Oh no.
Wait, they're gone. I swear to God he was building us because everybody else is here.
I think I saw it too. It wasn't one of your spies?
No, there was a name tag. Where did he see
Oh,
that?
my PP is... Oh, my fingers on my shift key. If I unship, bro. If I unship one... If I unship... Yeah, why don't we get a chase him? Dude, it's just so... Oh, my gosh, dude. 3 days. I put in all that effort. Yo, my gosh. What a waste of time, bro.
I didn't turn it
And
off.
our base is completely destroyed now.
You know what? I think it would have been better if we just had left in the beginning.
Well, I mean, we didn't know if it was going to be the director or not, but that's you want to turn the lockdown off and then.
Yeah.
Alright, Leah. Where's Leah? Where's Leah?
If only you knew. If only you could hear me and see me right now. Look, bro. If you're still somewhere around here, I actually hate you, bro. Well, I'm getting out of here. Oh, lockdown's ready to shut off? Wow, I have actually gone through so much for that to work. I thought I wanted to try to get rockets to immediately escape. I wanted to try to do this to escape. I wanted to try to do that to escape. Get out. Okay. This is... That's awesome. Yeah, they can stay locked down there. Okay. I have escaped the void. The void. As for the everything else problem, we're not looking good. This is the finale to the series. Next video, if I don't have 1,000,000 diamonds in my army, I am cooked. So yeah, you can click that video here, or if it's not out, click this other one. And yeah, the moonwalking guy.
Son, durugan.
This audacious thief actually tried to steal the national leader's medal, just as he was about to succeed. A sudden gust of wind completely threw off his plan. Sensing trouble, Lupin quickly reeled in the fishing line. But the next second, right in front of tens of thousands of people, he yanked off the national leader's wig. Now he was really in deep trouble. The leader flew into a rage on the spot and ordered Lupin killed, no matter the cost. Hundreds of soldiers opened fire on the helicopter like madmen. In the end, the helicopter was shot down, and Lupin and his crew crash-landed in the wilderness. In no time, countless pursuers caught up with them. Lupin immediately ordered Fujiko to escape with the wounded partner, while he stayed behind to hold off the enemy. But no matter how precise his aim, he couldn't stop the endless wave of soldiers. Eventually, he ran out of bullets. Just as Lupin closed his eyes, ready to die, a burst of rapid gunfire rang out. One by one, the soldiers chasing him fell. Lupin turned around. To his surprise, it was the woman who had deceived him countless times, coming back to save him. Afterward, Lupin and Fujiko were cornered in a castle. The soldiers had completely blocked every exit. Fujiko gently bandaged Lupin's wounds, but then Lupin raised his gun at her and ordered her to leave immediately. Fujiko knew he was doing it for her sake. Reluctant as she was, under Lupin's firm insistence, she left the room. But just as Lupin let his guard down, a scream suddenly rang out. Lupin rushed out of the room instantly. An assassin was about to kill Fujiko. He arrived just in time to save her. Meanwhile, the enemy commander issued an ultimatum. If they didn't surrender by dawn, the entire castle would be leveled by tanks. Trapped, Fujiko looked at Lupin. Rather than dying at the hands of the enemy, she would rather have Lupin end her life himself.
だが2発だけ残したね。お前のために、そして残りは俺だ。あれが
Just then, a rose fell from the sky. Lupin looked up. It was Jigen and Ishikawa, coming to rescue them. The commander was furious. He ordered the tanks to open fire immediately, but not a single soldier dared to pull the trigger, because the hot air balloon Lupin was riding had the leader's face painted on it. Firing would be an act of treason. In the end, all the soldiers could do was stand at attention and salute, watching helplessly as Lupin escaped. This audacious thief actually tried to steal the national leader's medal, just as he was about to succeed. A sudden gust of wind completely threw off his plan. Sensing trouble, Lupin quickly reeled in the fishing line. But the next second, right in front of tens of thousands of people, he yanked off the national leader's wig.
The old man would lift the floorboards of his house every day and fish until late at night. A great flood had submerged the entire city, and people could only live above the water. One morning, when the old man woke up, he found his room flooded once again. But he remained perfectly calm, because whenever the water level rose, he would simply build another floor on top of his house. He called a merchant to deliver cement and bricks, then began working day and night. No matter the wind or rain, he never stopped. Soon, the new floor was finished. As the house grew taller, it also became smaller. Each time he moved upward, he had to abandon more furniture behind. While carrying his belongings, the pipe that had accompanied him for many years accidentally fell through a hole in the floor. The old man could only watch helplessly as it slowly sank beneath the water. He planned to buy a new pipe, but then he noticed a diving suit in a shop window. He still wanted the pipe his wife had given him. After putting on the suit, the old man skillfully jumped into the water. He found the pipe and swam downward through one flooded room after another. On the fourth floor, he finally reached it. The moment he picked up the pipe, memories came flooding back. His wife had once gently picked up that same pipe for him, but now, her figure was long gone. The old man no longer wished to return immediately. Instead, he chose to open one door of memories after another. On the next lower floor, there was a small bed. He had once cared for his bedridden wife with all his heart, but he did everything he could. He still could not save her. After calming himself, he continued swimming downward. His family had once taken a portrait on the sofa there. The joyful image of all of them together was still clear in his mind. He kept descending. It was through that door that his daughter had once brought the woman he loved home. He could still remember the nervousness and unease of that first meeting. Later, his daughter got married and built a family of her own. He and his wife then returned to their quiet life together. One floor lower was the room where the three of them once lived. The daughter, who had always stayed by their side, had finally grown up and boarded the boat that carried her away from home. The old man dived even deeper. That was when his wife had just become a mother. He saw again the moment. Their little daughter took her very first steps. There was the wooden toy he had bought for her, and just like now, he had stood nearby, watching happily. At last, the old man reached the very bottom floor. He opened the door and looked around the small house he had built with his own hands, floor by floor. Looking at everything so familiar outside, he remembered the days when he first met his wife in their youth. They played together, studied together, confessed their love, and made promises on that land. Brick by brick, they built the first home of their lives. In that warm little house, they shared dinners together. He imitated the way people swirled wine in movies, making his wife laugh out loud. But the memory suddenly ended. The moment their glasses touched, everything they once had was now only memory. The old man picked up the wine glass his wife had once used and brought it back to his present home. He filled 2 glasses with red wine, imagining his wife still sitting across from him. In that hazy moment, it felt as though he had returned once more to the little house in his memories. The old man would lift the floorboards of his house every day and fish until...
The girl woke up in the hospital, was defined she couldn't see a thing. The doctor told her it was permanent blindness from a corrosive liquid. She immediately recalled her walk home last night. Someone suddenly sprayed an unknown liquid right in her face. She woke up and ended up like this. Who on earth would want to harm her? She asked the police, but they found no clues at all. She tried to contact her family, yet not a single call could get through. The only person who showed up was a distant relative living abroad. Her relative arranged a caregiver named Ryan for her, and even provided a luxury apartment. The caregiver took care of her daily life, taught her to use voice apps and a white cane, helping her slowly adapt to life without sight. One day, Ryan brought her a parrot to keep her company. Mia couldn't help but ask what color it was.
Baby blue.
This meant now all her perception of the world relies entirely on her imagination or Ryan's description. Truth or lie, no one knew. Just days after moving in, Mia sensed something was off. 2 windows were close together. One was loud with wind and noise. The other was quiet as a sealed wall. Even stranger, the same siren sounded daily. It always starts at 11:03, lasts 1 minute sharp. Every single day. More reliable than an alarm clock. This was a luxury building. The TV never gets any signal. Mia had no way to reach the outside world at all. What's worse, she heard a woman crying in the hallway vent. It connected to the neighbor's place, so she suspected the neighbor was suffering domestic violence. But Ryan told her it was just hallucinations from her overwhelming anxiety. Mia didn't believe him one bit, so she left a note at her neighbor's door, inviting her over for tea. The next day, the neighbor actually came. The woman spoke casually and naturally, nothing like someone being abused, until Mia felt a scar across her face. The neighbor instantly grew extremely tense. Mumbled a strange line and hurried away. When Mia went to see her a second time, she suddenly ran into the neighbor's husband. Though she couldn't see, the malice he gave off sent chills down Mia's spine. The man warned her to stay away from his wife, or she would face the consequences. Scared, Mia immediately called for Ryan. Unexpectedly, Ryan took the chance to confess his love, saying he would always protect her from then on. Mia was deeply resistant to this strange relationship. Ryan could only leave heartbroken. But not long after, sudden noises came from the living room. A masked man had broken in without her noticing, pushed Mia straight against the wall, and tightly choked her by the neck, until she passed out completely. When Mia woke up again, Ryan asked her with concern what had happened, but Mia was utterly terrified by then. She knew the attacker tonight was the same guy who blinded her, yet the police told her the security footage showed no one entered. Was it all in her head again? The dark days dragged on, and Mia fell deeper into fear and self-doubt. Finally, one day, she walked onto the balcony, climbed over the railing, and jumped down. The girl woke up in the hospital, was to find she couldn't see a thing. The doctor told
My little sister won a goldfish at the school
Lord,
trip and asked me to watch it for 10 minutes while she set up its bowl.
Up and story of the
the
girl.
girl woke up in the hospital, was to find she couldn't see a thing. The doctor told her it was permanent blindness from a corrosive liquid. She immediately recalled her walk home last night. Someone suddenly sprayed an unknown liquid right in her face. She woke up and ended up like this. Who on earth would want to harm her? She asked the police, but they found no clues at all. She tried to contact her family, yet not a single call to get through. The only person who showed up was a distant relative.
Ay, movie?
The girl woke up in the hospital, was to find she couldn't see a thing. The doctor told her it was permanent blindness from a corrosive liquid. She immediately recalled her walk home last night. Someone suddenly sprayed an unknown liquid right in her face. She woke up and ended up like this. Who on earth would want to harm her? She asked the police, but they found no clues at all. She tried to contact her family, yet not a single call could get through. The only person who showed up was a distant relative living abroad. Her relative arranged a caregiver named Ryan for her, and even provided a luxury apartment. The caregiver took care of her daily life, taught her to use voice apps and a white cane, helping her slowly adapt to life without sight. One day, Ryan brought her a parrot to keep her company. Mia couldn't help but ask what color it was. This meant now all her perception of the world relies entirely on her imagination or Ryan's description. Truth or lie, no one knew. Just days after moving in, Mia sensed something was off. Two windows were close together. One was loud with wind and noise. The other was quiet as a sealed wall. Even stranger, the same siren sounded daily. It always starts at 11:03, lasts 1 minute sharp. Every single day. More reliable than an alarm clock. This was a luxury building. The TV never gets any signal. Mia had no way to reach the outside world at all. What's worse, she heard a woman crying in the hallway vent. It connected to the neighbor's place, so she suspected the neighbor was suffering domestic violence. But Ryan told her it was just hallucinations from her overwhelming anxiety. Mia didn't believe him one bit, so she left a note at her neighbor's door, inviting her over for tea. The next day, the neighbor actually came. The woman spoke casually and naturally, nothing like someone being abused, until Mia felt a scar across her face. The neighbor instantly grew extremely tense. Mumbled a strange line and hurried away. When Mia went to see her a second time, she suddenly ran into the neighbor's husband. Though she couldn't see, the malice he gave off sent chills down Mia's spine. The man warned her to stay away from his wife, or she would face the consequences. Scared, Mia immediately called for Ryan. Unexpectedly, Ryan took the chance to confess his love, saying he would always protect her from then on. Mia was deeply resistant to this strange relationship. Ryan could only leave heartbroken. But not long after, sudden noises came from the living room. A masked man had broken in without her noticing, pushed Mia straight against the wall, and tightly choked her by the neck, until she passed out completely. When Mia woke up again, Ryan asked her with concern what had happened, but Mia was utterly terrified by then. She knew the attacker tonight was the same guy who blinded her, yet the police told her the security footage showed no one entered. Was it all in her head again? The dark days dragged on, and Mia fell deeper into fear and self-doubt. Finally, one day, she walked onto the balcony, climbed over the railing, and jumped down. The blind girl stood outside the balcony railing. She let go and fell straight down, but when she woke up again, she found herself not only alive, but completely unhurt. She lived on more than the 10th floor. Below should have been a bustling street, but when Mia felt around, she touched foam walls all around. The so-called traffic noises were just a recording from a speaker. It meant from the moment she went blind, she'd been living in someone's illusion. Mia stepped on the speaker and reached up, and actually grabbed the 10th floor balcony railing. Climbing back into the room, her only thought was to escape. But when she ran for the elevator, she found it was fake too. This place was nothing but a cage. Mia broke down completely. Who had locked her up here? And what was their purpose? She had no idea. Then she remembered the neighbor who warned her not to trust him. Maybe she was the only one who could help. Mia found the neighbor again, but heard her pretending to find keys at the door. She realized instantly the neighbor's place was also fake. That door must lead somewhere else. Mia made an excuse. To bring the neighbor back to her room, she turned on the faucet for noise, then deliberately knocked over a lighter. To make the neighbor bend down and pick it up, talking while both crouched down, they could avoid any hidden cameras and bugs. After Mia told her what she had discovered, the neighbor instantly panicked. Just then, the neighbor's husband showed and took her away at once. Strangely enough, Ryan arrived right after they left. He tried to comfort the frightened Mia. Mia directly exposed his lies.
This place is a fucking lie, and I want to know why.
But Ryan confessed the truth, saying this was never an apartment, but a mental rehabilitation center. They built this fake environment to help her treat her mental illness.
Stop lying to
You
me.
suffer from PTSD and you're newly blind. Is that a lie?
Hearing this, Mia cried and hugged Ryan, yet her face was still full of distrust. During dinner, Ryan tapped the table twice out of habit. That small gesture instantly reminded Mia, the doctor's assistant who treated her before, and the police in charge of her case. All made that exact same move. A terrifying thought popped into her mind. Could they all be the very same man? The blind girl had been imprisoned by her own caregiver. Mia forced calm and sat down to dinner with Ryan. Pouring wine, she secretly located the knife block. Then she deliberately knocked over her wine glass as Ryan bent to pick it up. Mia swung the knife block hard at his head, making sure he was unconscious. Mia felt around and took a key from Ryan's body. She then unlocked the neighbor's door. Sure enough, it wasn't a home behind it, but a dimly lit storage room. But to her, it was still just darkness. Her hands brushed against a row of clothes. Security uniforms, doctor coats, police gear. Everything confirmed her darkest suspicion. Ever since she went blind, all the men who appeared around her, the doctor, the police, the caregiver, the neighbor's husband, even the attacker who blinded her at first, were all played by the same man. He blinded her, cared for her, caged her. Like a bird trapped in a cage, Mia was toyed with completely by this pervert. Suddenly, a muffled sob caught her attention. Following the sound, Mia walked into the fake ward she once stayed in and found the neighbor girl curled up on the bed. It turned out she was the pervert's younger sister, also imprisoned here, forced to act along with her brother's lies. Mia wanted to take her and escape together, but after long-term abuse, the girl had long lost the courage to run away. She told Mia the only exit was inside the ventilation duct in the pervert's room. Mia felt her way slowly back. Suddenly, a hand grabbed her cane. The pervert dragged Mia back to his room, but he didn't hurt her further. Instead, he told his story. As a kid, his father abused him, locked him in a pitch-black basement, until one day, he heard music played by a girl through the wall. That melody got him through his darkest days. Later, he learned that music was all written by Mia. He had always been her biggest fan. He kept her here to have her all to himself. Hearing this, Mia pretended to be moved. She reached out and gently touched his face, telling him she was willing to stay with him forever. The moment he let his guard down, Mia spun around and grabbed a stun gun in his hand. She found scissors and pried open the vent, but the opening was too small to fit through. Inside the duct, she touched a small bottle. She opened it and smelled it. It was the same liquid that had blinded her. Could this be the real exit all along? Before long, the pervert woke up again. The two immediately got into a fierce fight. In the chaos, the bottle fell to the ground. Mia's throat was burned badly, while the pervert let out a terrifying scream. He finally got what he deserved, losing his sight forever too. In the end, the girl helped Mia open the warehouse gate, though she still couldn't see a thing, but she could feel the long-lost sunlight and the true wind of freedom.
Short story lang.
Okay, so
The girl woke up in the hospital.
My little sister wanted to
Full
go to the school
talaga.
fair and asked me to watch it for 10 minutes while she said,
This guy bought an automatic chessboard just to see what would happen if he tried cheating against it. At first, he tested something simple by moving a pawn 3 squares forward instead of 2. But the second he let go, the board immediately moved the piece back to the correct position like it already knew the move was illegal. So then he pushed it even further. He tried using a knight to capture 2 pawns at the same time, even though that's completely impossible in chess. Again, the board instantly corrected it and reset the pieces back where they belonged. At that point, it became obvious this thing was tracking every move in real time and checking the rules constantly. But he still wasn't done testing it. Next, he tried illegally swapping the king and rook in a way that completely breaks the rules of castling. And somehow the AI inside the board detected that too and fixed the position before the move could even count. No matter what illegal move he tried, the board immediately knew something was wrong and corrected it on its own like it was impossible to fool. This guy bought an automatic chess.
The goddess felt utterly defeated. Every human she had summoned was nothing. In a culinary competition, the rules stipulated that everyone had to make a dish using pufferfish for the judges to taste and score. Yet my opponent unexpectedly prepared the pufferfish in 9 different Japanese culinary styles. When we filed a protest, he claimed that this 9-style pufferfish platter was counted as a single dish in Japanese cuisine. The judges had never seen such a way of preparing pufferfish, and after tasting it, they all cast their votes for him. Just as he was brimming with triumph, I stepped forward and announced that our dish also had 2 ways to be enjoyed. I then instructed our chef to cut the pufferfish into evenly sized chunks. Once he finished the preparation, I took out a specially prepared sauce and poured it over the fish, then lit it with a match. In the next instant, the fish flesh bloomed like flowers, and even drew butterflies fluttering over it. This magical scene won rounds of applause from the judges. After tasting it, they were full of praise. We claimed victory in the end, but the look of unwillingness on my opponent's face told me this was far from over. In the next round of the competition, I merely touched the pork, and immediately sensed something was wrong. I then took a whiff, and sure enough, the pork had gone bad, but there was no other meat left to use. So I picked up a plate of tofu, leaving the audience in total confusion. Time was running out, so I sliced eggplants evenly, and immediately began carving them. My movements were swift and precise, and in no time, I carved the eggplants into the shape of swans. The judges gave me a perfect score for my exquisite knife skills, yet they were full of doubt. The competition rules required every dish to include pork, but I hadn't touched the spoiled pork at all from the start. Finally, I set about preparing the tofu. I chopped it finely, shaved the leftover eggplant into thin slices, then wrapped the minced tofu with the eggplant slices. I coated the rolled ingredients with breadcrumbs and deep fried them in hot oil. As the host began the countdown, I quickly drizzled my secret sauce over the dish to finish it. Though the plating was exquisite, the judges refused to take a bite. This round explicitly required all dishes to contain pork. Hearing this, I had no choice but to explain that the ingredients provided by the competition organizers were already spoiled. The judges then made an exception and agreed to taste my dish. It turned out to be so delicious that the judges could not stop eating. In the end, I won the championship. In a culinary competition, the rules stipulated that everyone had to make a dish using pufferfish.
Great craft, Mike.
The woman immediately noticed that the ingredients prepared by the organizers were leftovers from the day before. As a chef who was extremely particular about ingredients, she found herself unable to even begin. Meanwhile, her opponent had already taken the lead. She quickly grabbed the ingredients she needed and started working without hesitation. While preparing her dish, she confidently explained her cooking philosophy to the audience. She claimed that she didn't even need a pan to cook. All she had to do was cover the rice with plastic wrap, sprinkle some onions on top, add slices of pork, pour over the sauce, and finally spread beaten egg across the surface. Into the microwave it went. In just 4 minutes and 50 seconds, a delicious dish would be ready. The audience gasped at the incredible speed. The opponent basked in their applause. Meanwhile, the woman was still deciding which ingredients to use. She slowly picked up 2 shrimp. She wasn't hesitating. She was carefully choosing the ingredients, the order, and the flavors. She then mixed the cooking sauce with the seasoning sauce, a formula she had created herself. The host approached, ready to interview her, but the woman was fully immersed in her cooking, focused solely on her dish. By this time, her opponent had already completed 2 dishes. She shot a provocative glance at the woman, yet the woman remained unhurried. The only sound in the arena was the steady rhythm of her knife against the cutting board. Watching her slow movements, even her supporters began to grow anxious. One judge even joked that she was moving like a sloth. Only the head judge gestured for silence. The woman sliced the meat in half, poured the sauce evenly into a bowl, added freshly grated wasabi, and slowly poured in hot tea. With that, a simple bowl of akazup was complete. Soon, it was time for judging. Each chef received 1 vote, leaving the final decision to the head judge. In terms of speed, the opponent had clearly won, saving every second fit perfectly with modern life. But the head judge said he didn't care about how much time a dish took. What mattered to him was whether the chef truly had the diner in mind. The answer was already clear in his heart. Just as he was about to announce the result, he received a subtle signal from the sponsor. In the end, the head judge could only declare a tie. The woman didn't seem to care. She quietly tasted her own dish. This competition had been meaningless from the start, because the 2 chefs were never pursuing the same thing. The woman immediately noticed that the ingredients prepared by the organizers were leftovers from the day before.
At Brugada, we're on a mission to make life.
This officer who has hunted Lupin is
As the girl joined the selection for the Imperial Consort, she deliberately left a
This officer who has hunted Lupin his entire life has finally lost it. If he can't catch Lupin this time, he'll resign. After countless failures, this time he decides to take the initiative. Soon, a large number of police officers surround Lupin's apartment. After making sure every exit is blocked, the police start forcing the door open. With one crash after another, the door finally bursts open, but there's no one inside. Just then, a video recorder turns on by itself. Lupin, right in front of Zenigata, issues a heist announcement. Tomorrow, he will steal all the gold stored in the bank. At that moment, Inspector Zenigata is overwhelmed with regret. He never expected that. Lupin had blended into the crowd the instant the door opened. His carefully laid plan had failed. But then, he immediately comes up with an even more ingenious trap. The next day, Lupin begins his gold heist as promised. First, he digs a tunnel straight to the bank's vault. Then he sends in Ishikawa again, who slices through 30 centimeters of solid steel with his blade. Just as Inspector Zenigata opens the vault door, he catches Lupin red-handed. But the moment he draws his gun, an overwhelming drowsiness sweeps over him. In fact, the takeout he just ate had been drugged by Lupin's accomplice. And so, Lupin successfully steals all the gold. But what he doesn't know is that this is all part of Zenigata's plan. 1/3 of the stolen gold is fake, and fitted with tracking devices. This time, Zenigata is sure Lupin has no escape. But soon, dozens of red dots suddenly appear on the tracking radar. Zenigata's mind explodes. Could Lupin possibly use shadow clone techniques? With no other choice, he orders every police car to chase the targets. The command room descends into chaos. In truth, Lupin had long realized the gold was suspicious, and tossed the questionable coins into different garbage trucks, batch by batch. That's why so many red dots appeared on the radar. Now all he has to do is store the real gold in a secret base, and wait for the heat to blow over. But in the next second, Lupin is stunned. All the garbage trucks were now driving nearby, and as it happens, there's a landfill right in this area. As always, fate sure loves to mess with people. Seeing Zenigata closing in, Lupin's brain races at full speed. Then, pretending to be calm, he says, "Don't come any closer." A huge amount of explosives are buried under this ground. This crushing defeat has made him lose the will to live. As Zenigata weeps, Lupin uses the explosion to escape the encirclement. But the story doesn't end there. The next moment, Zenigata chases after him on a speedboat. He never believed for a second that Lupin would kill himself. And so, Zenigata chases Lupin all the way to the end of the Grand Line, where they find the legendary One Piece. This officer who has hunted Lupin his entire
As the girl joined the selection for the Imperial Consort, she deliberately left a lipstick mark on the scroll. When the Emperor began the judging, all the other contestants' paintings were exquisitely finished, but when it came to the girl, she handed in a completely blank scroll. The Emperor flew into a rage at once, and demanded she explain herself. Yet the girl insisted she had painted for a full hour, and it could not be a blank sheet. The examiner had clearly seen her finish the painting, but when she asked him to testify for her, he not only refused to back her up, but claimed he had not seen her paint at all, and had only spotted her pick up a brush when time was almost up. The girl quickly picked up the scroll. Her lipstick mark was still clearly there, so why had the painting disappeared? Just then, the girl caught a strange smell coming from the scroll. Only then did she realize someone had tampered with her work. She asked for a cup of boiling water and poured it over the paper. The next second, an exquisite painting appeared on the sheet. Queen flew into a fury and ordered her men to take the examiner away at once for investigation. The examiner dropped to his knees in terror. Only in that moment did he realize he had offended the wrong person. The girl advanced smoothly to the second round. The second round was a flower arranging contest. All the other contestants created extremely delicate works, hoping to win and change their lives. But this woman used only a few withered branches. The Emperor was full of praise for the other's pieces. Just as another contestant thought she was about to win, the girl merely waved her hand. The flower buds bloomed at an astonishing speed as if obeying a command, and the dead branches sprouted green leaves in an instant. Everyone present was utterly shocked. Soon came the final stage. In this round, the princes would give 6 flowers to their favorite contestant. The first prince gave 1 flower to the girl first, then gave the other 5 to different contestants. But when it was the second prince's turn, he walked back and forth through the crowd again and again, yet gave all his flowers to the girl. This made the other contestants burn with jealousy. Queen angrily reprimanded the prince, saying his actions would embarrass the other competitors. But the Emperor wore a satisfied smile. The next day, the Emperor issued an imperial edict and named the girl the prince's consort. Everyone rejoiced for her, but no one noticed. The woman standing behind her, her eyes were cold, nothing like someone who was celebrating. As the girl joined the selection for the Imperial... A female female celebrity was about to step onto the red carpet, only to find her rival wearing the exact same gown. She froze on the spot at once, and suddenly recalled her dream from the night before. In that dream, her rival had deliberately worn the same outfit, stealing all the spotlight. This awkward identical outfit scene quickly shot to the top of online trending searches. Netizens slammed her for copying on purpose. Determined not to let the tragedy from her dream repeat itself, she had a sudden idea. Pulling out a pair of scissors, she began altering her gown right on the spot. Her rival had been eagerly waiting to watch her make a fool of herself. But when the star stepped out of the car and appeared before everyone, the crowd gasped in amazement, and her rival's smile froze instantly. Yet this moment of glory did not last long. The next day, she co-starred in a film with her rival. However, the other woman arbitrarily rewrote the script without notice, clearly seeking deliberate revenge. Strangely enough, this scene had also appeared in her premonition dream. In the dream, she'd flown into a furious rage and lost control, and the clip had spread online, sparkling a new wave of online abuse. Having learned from that dream, she stayed calm and composed this time. Instead, she delivered an impromptu performance, portraying the helpless grievance and suppressed restraint with perfect subtlety. The director praised her highly on the spot, admiring her exquisite acting skills. Meanwhile, her rival was consumed by jealousy, resentment, and frustration. After the scene aired, public opinion of the female celebrity completely reversed. But on her way home that night, she crossed paths with a man, someone she had also seen in her dreams. In that vision, she had been cornered by reporters on a rooftop, and this very man had saved her in the end. The string of bizarre incidents left her confused. Was all this just a dream, or had time looped all over again? Eager to uncover the truth, she hurried to chase after the man. She jammed her high heel in the elevator door to hold it open, then slowly stepped closer to him. Caught off guard by such a bold woman, the man froze completely in place. A female celebrity was about to step onto the red carpet.
One day, a goat noticed that a pig's nose looked exactly like a power socket. Out of curiosity, it plugged a wire into it, and surprisingly, electricity started flowing. The goat quickly gave itself a stylish haircut. Seeing this, the rabbit made fresh carrot juice with a juicer, and the cat boiled hot water to fill its heating bag. They all agreed that each house would only use electricity for 5 minutes so everyone could take turns. But one day, a bird got so lost in listening to music that it refused to stop even after its time was up. The rooster, who had been waiting for a long time, became furious and started arguing with it. The cat quickly brought a power strip so everyone could use electricity at the same time. More and more animals joined, the wires grew longer, and soon the electricity line reached the city. They built bridges and subways, and the cat even started driving an electric car. Life became easy. Vacuum cleaners, washing machines, printers, and fans were used everywhere. The city stayed bright day and night. Cats used electricity for warmth, penguins used it for cooling, and even thieves used it for their crimes. But the noise became so loud that the dog police officer finally caught them. Then sudden news spread, the pig's electricity was running out. Even after hearing this, the animals didn't care and kept wasting power. Soon, the pig became extremely weak, and the city suddenly lost all electricity. Darkness covered everything, and the comfortable life collapsed. Panicked, the animals found the pig almost dying. They rushed to the supermarket, grabbed all the food, and fed it to the pig. The power returned for a moment. The rabbit turned on the TV. Machines started working again, but after only 60 seconds, the electricity stopped once more. Chaos erupted. Some animals started fires and looting. Even the gentle rabbit began smashing windows. The dog officer tried to restore order, but was beaten by the crowd. A powerless train derailed and crashed into power lines, destroying buildings. One collapsing structure hit another like falling dominoes, triggering a massive chain reaction. In the next moment, the entire city collapsed into ruins. Only the cat survived, though it lost one ear and one eye. As it looked around in confusion, it suddenly saw a nose that looked like a socket again, this time on a giant elephant. After a moment of hesitation, the cat plugged the wire in once more. Behind it, the other survivors silently lined up, and the cycle began again. One day, a goat noticed that a pig's nose looked exactly like a power socket. Out of curiosity, it plugged a wire into it, and surprisingly, electricity started flowing. The goat quickly gave itself a stylish haircut. Seeing this, the rabbit...
Except for one thing. Rick, come on, I defended you. Is that real? You pretended. Do this.
Rick, who had been bullied for years, finally tried to take revenge at school. Luckily, Sean stopped him just in time. Jimmy was rushed to the hospital. A few months later, he returned to school, but he could no longer walk and had to rely on a wheelchair. Thankfully, his best friend Spinner stayed by his side, taking care of him and helping him through every challenge. Jimmy used to be the best basketball player on campus, and his future once looked incredibly bright. But now he felt like he couldn't do anything, and his whole future terrified him. Spinner tried to comfort him.
Do you wake up every morning thinking you can walk, and then remembering that you'll never, ever walk again? Sometimes I just wish for a better job.
Spinner felt guilty, and he finally built up the courage to tell the truth.
In the bathroom, after we dumped that stuff on me and Jay, told them we were leaving, and then they shot.
After hearing the truth, Jimmy walked away in heartbreak. The next day, Spinner lost all his friends and his girlfriend. No one included him in hangouts anymore. He walked up to Jimmy and dropped to his knees.
I wish none of that ever happened, Jimmy. You're drunk.
How can I get you to stop hating me? Just shoot me out, bite my head off. I don't care. Just tell me, please.
But Jimmy still couldn't forgive him. Spinner grabbed his car keys and tried to leave, and Marco rushed in to stop him.
Next thing you know, you're in jail or the hospital or the morgue.
Marco ended up calling everyone over to help calm him down, but Spinner wouldn't listen to anyone, and just as he started the car to drive off,
Move, Jimmy, I need it. Look, I don't feel sorry for you. That's what you want, okay? I want my friend back. When have you ever treated me like a friend? When you lied to Rick? When you told me about it? You needed to know. No, you needed to make yourself feel better. Why don't you for once think about somebody other than Spinner? You know what? Still driving off the bridge. I don't care. You're dead to me already. Except for one thing. Rick, come on. I defended you. Is that real? You pretended. Do this.
This is the Try Not to Laugh challenge. First, it was a bald man's turn. He was famous for making hilarious faces, but his opponent was an old grandpa. As soon as the match started, the bald man began making funny expressions. He had been training for this game for years, but the grandpa stayed completely calm, like he couldn't even see it. The bald man tried even harder, but it still didn't work. Then the grandpa started getting bored, so he made his own funny face. The moment people saw his face, everyone burst out laughing. After winning that round, the grandpa advanced to the finals, where his next opponent was a top comedian who had already won many times before. He could make countless funny faces in under 1 minute. The game began, and right at the start, the comedian almost lost because the grandpa already looked naturally funny. He quickly regained focus and launched his full attack. He unleashed a non-stop combo of hilarious expressions at the grandpa. But the grandpa's face still stayed completely normal. Seeing no reaction, the comedian tried even harder. Then the grandpa finally counterattacked. The comedian tried to hold back his laughter, but he couldn't control himself. Could anyone actually defeat this grandpa? This is the Try Not to Laugh challenge. First, it was a bald man's turn.
The woman pretended to be the bride while her friend was asleep. She set her friend's phone time to 2028. Then she woke up the drowsy friend. The groggy friend noticed the white wedding dress and felt confused. The next moment, the woman said she was about to get married. The friend was so shocked that she sprang out of bed. She looked at the red quilt in her hands in disbelief, then glanced around the room and realized it really was a wedding decorated room. Then the woman told her friend that she had suffered from hypersomnia a few years ago, sleeping for several years at a time, and this time she had been asleep for 2 years. First, the friend couldn't believe it. She quickly found her phone to check the time. The moment she saw that the time on her phone really said 2028, she broke down instantly, unable to accept that she had hypersomnia. The woman told her friend to rest some more and then be a bridesmaid at her wedding. Although the friend was full of doubt, her drowsiness made her decide to go back to rest. Then the woman put on a fake pregnancy belly and went to the bedroom to wake her friend. The waking friend hurriedly got up, ready to be a bridesmaid. At that point, the woman told her friend that she had already been married for over a year. Her friend was stunned. When she learned that she had slept another year this time, she started to break down again. But then she noticed something strange. The red quilt was the same as last time, and the wedding decorations in the room hadn't been taken down. The woman, afraid of being found out, quickly explained that another friend had also gotten married, and that so many things had happened over the past year. Afraid of missing more important moments, the friend tried hard to keep her eyes open and not fall asleep again. But 3 minutes later, she passed out. When she woke up, she anxiously looked for the woman. This time, the woman was dressed as an old lady. The friend fainted. She woke up to find coffee.
Did you steal it?
I didn't steal it, Elijah. I gave it.
It ain't in here, because definitely it's gone. I had one.
The girl's heel suddenly broke during a job interview. She panicked and didn't know what to do. Just when the interviewer thought she was about to give up, the girl stood on her tiptoes, straightened her back, and walked confidently toward the interviewer. Before she could say anything, the interviewer suddenly asked her to play the piano. But when the girl looked around, there was no piano in sight. The interviewer simply stared at her without saying a word. After thinking for a few seconds, the girl raised her hands and began to perform as if there were an invisible piano. She played while softly humming a children's song. Her quick thinking immediately caught the interviewer's attention. Although her academic background wasn't enough to qualify her for such a top hotel, her series of impressive responses eventually moved the interviewer. In the end, she was hired by the hotel. However, the girl was assigned to work as a cleaner in the gym area. where she had to wipe away the sweat left behind by guests after their workouts every day. Even though she felt a little disappointed, she still followed the rules and served everyone with a smile. Her coworkers couldn't understand it. After all, no matter how hard they worked, it was almost impossible to get transferred to the lobby. But the girl didn't mind. She simply wanted to do her current job as well as possible. Not long after, the hotel president suddenly came to inspect the gym. When the girl saw him, she immediately smiled and thanked him for hiring her. Suddenly, the president asked her to explain the key points of lobby reception. A coworker quickly stepped in and explained that the girl had never worked in the lobby before, but the girl still smiled calmly and clearly described the entire reception process in the lobby. She even repeated it again in 3 different languages. Her performance was flawless. The president immediately ordered that she be transferred to work in the lobby. Everyone around them was shocked, but the girl didn't stop there. Through continuous effort and outstanding performance, she not only won the Employee of the Year award, but was eventually promoted all the way to become the hotel's lobby manager. With persistence and high standards, the girl finally seized the opportunity when it came. The girl's heel suddenly broke during it.
I was blind in both eyes. I offered the only apple one had to the god. I didn't expect the god to be moved by my action. The god granted me a third eye. This eye, it turned out, had the power of X-ray vision. I knelt down and thanked the god. I also swore to earn a lot of money to help the poor. Then I went to a casino. In front of the mirror at the counter, I saw my own appearance for the first time. The shop assistant saw me and mocked me, saying, "What's a blind person doing looking in a mirror?" He even tried to kick me out. That's when I realized that no one else could see my third eye. I took out some silver and said I was a customer too. The assistant then led me to a table. The bully saw I was blind. He planned to cheat me out of my money, but he didn't know. I had already seen the numbers on the dice with my third eye. I immediately started placing my bets. The bully thought I couldn't see, so he secretly altered the dice. Others saw it and quickly followed his bets. I took advantage of the bully's overconfidence and used my third eye to restore the dice to their original numbers. When the bully revealed the dice, everyone at the table froze. He was dumbfounded too, because he clearly remembered moving the dice. I won a lot of money in that round. The bully was furious. He couldn't accept losing to a blind person. He challenged me to play another round. I agreed without hesitation. I even bet all my silver on the game. I used my third eye again to see the dice numbers. The bully also let the people around him peek at the numbers. Even though I knew they were taking advantage of my blindness, I still kindly warned them not to bet this round. But no one listened. Instead, they followed the bully and bet all their money. Then the bully guessed the dice number would be 1. I said there would be no number on the dice. Everyone burst out laughing. They even said I must be blind. Otherwise, I wouldn't talk nonsense. When the bully opened the dice cup, the dice spun rapidly. All the numbers on them were worn away. Only then did everyone realize that what I said was true. As I prepared to leave with my winnings, the bully accused me of cheating. He called over the boss. The boss thought I was pretending. He immediately lifted the cloth covering my eyes. When she saw my eyes clearly, she froze instantly. I was blind in both eyes. I offered the only
He's like, this should just run. It's not over yet, so I'm down on the campus. Today I'll be teaching you guys the science.
The girl only put on a facial mask before going to bed. When she woke up the next morning, she was shocked to find herself turned into a man. Thinking she might be dreaming, she slapped herself without hesitation. Just then, her elder sister walked in to use the bathroom. Terrified, the girl quickly turned around, covering her mouth and daring not say a word. But her sister immediately noticed his large man's feet and thought a burglar had broken into the house. She rushed forward to confront him at once. Yet when she saw his face clearly, she froze on the spot. The man standing before her was extremely handsome, no matter how the girl explained. The first thing I did after being reborn was to ruin my adopted sister's birthday. I completely cut off all ties with my family. I left home alone with only $100. But I wasn't worried at all, because in my previous life, my family members always favored my adopted sister. They not only often bullied me, but also denied me food. I had to wait for them to finish eating so I could lift the leftovers from their plates. And for every holiday, my brothers only bought gifts for my adopted sister. I never received anything. Even when I later became wealthy, they would only constantly ask me for money. So, living a new life, I immediately chose to distance myself from them. But I knew I was too young to earn money myself, so I stopped a beggar and asked him to adopt me. After the adoption paperwork was done, I told him I would help him get rich. He asked me how. I told him a severe cold snap was coming. We needed to stock up on charcoal in advance. He thought I was crazy. Just as he thought we would be sleeping under a bridge, the news suddenly broadcast a cold snap warning. Overnight, the entire city was frozen over. He was completely stunned, but almost all the charcoal in the city had been bought up by me in advance. Even the merchants had to buy it back from me at high prices, and so I made a large sum of money. When my biological family's brothers went to buy charcoal, the shop owner told them that a little girl had bought up all the charcoal. When they discovered that person was me, they immediately questioned whether I had stolen the family's money. They even wanted to take me home right away. My adopted father immediately stepped forward and stopped them. I directly took out the adoption certificate and threw it in their faces. But after reading it, they tore it to pieces on the spot. They accused me of being an ungrateful person. Seeing their ugly faces, I was so angry I couldn't speak. The next second, I fainted. When I woke up again, the doctor said I had suffered from severe long-term malnutrition. My adopted father flew into a rage, accusing my brothers of treating me poorly before, but they accused me of being a picky eater. I didn't want anything to do with them anymore. I directly threw out $200,000, demanding that we cut off all relations from now on. I told my adopted father to take me away immediately. After my adopted father and I made the money, we went to a restaurant to have a good meal. After eating, we went to a clothing store. We splurged and bought dozens of exquisite luxury clothes. To make even more money, I decided to hold a children's entrepreneurship competition. The first prize was a staggering $8 million, but my biological family saw this news. They decided to have my adopted sister participate in this competition as well, but in the end, what I never expected was that the person who won the championship was my adopted sister. Just as I was about to present the award to her, my biological family mocked me publicly. They said I was just some poor, insignificant nobody. They bragged that my adopted sister was the most successful one in the family, that I was far, far behind. Hearing this, I immediately canceled her prize money on the spot. That moment, they finally realized that the poor person they had been mocking so maliciously was the very organizer of this competition.
Gusto mong kitchenik?
I don't know who you think you are, or who you think you're dealing with.
Because he assaulted teacher, boy was taken to juvenile court under relevant regulations. He was supposed to spend 1 year in juvie, but at last judge only sentenced he 3 months house arrest because his reason for hitting the teacher excusable. A few days earlier, boy had gone fishing with his father. The two had a great catch and had an amazing time together. While driving, the boy excitedly shared the good news with his mother. Because focus drifted away, it ended in a car crash. When Boy finally crawled out after struggling to escape, he discovered that his father had already died in the accident. Ever since then, Boy had never been able to let it go. This is also the primary reason for his listlessness. The reason he lashed out was that the teacher mentioned his father. What the teacher said wasn't wrong, but it touched Boy's deepest nerve. That's why he lost complete control. But the consequence of that was 3 months of house arrest. To stop him from sneaking out, the police put a tracking device on his ankle. As soon as he moved more than 30 meters from the house, the green light on it would turn red, and if he didn't return within 10 seconds, it would immediately trigger an alarm. On top of that, the tracker was waterproof and resistant to forced removal. If he wanted to get rid of it completely, he could only wait until the 3 months were over.
House arrest might sound like a breeze, but I've seen many folk get a bit loopy after too long, so nothing just a day or two. So find constructive things to do to keep yourself busy.
I don't know who you think you are.
To perfectly play the
Sorry, Smokey, but we're kind of...
To perfectly play the role of a royal princess, the girl would put 2 steel balls in her mouth before every performance to make her cheeks look round and full, just like a real palace princess. But the steel balls were far too heavy. She could only hold on for 5 minutes at most. Her cheeks began to ache, and she couldn't stop drooling. Helpless, she had to replace the steel balls with tissue paper in her mouth. But a new problem arose.
Sorry, Smokey, but...
What does it mean to be insanely famous? Just a shadow on a curtain is enough to make reporters and fans wait all night. But what they don't know is, that shadow is just the director using a Barbie doll and lighting to fake Sienna's presence. To make it look like she's staying there, he scatters fake hair on the floor, sprays perfume on the bed, rolls around on it, leaves women's clothes casually on the couch, puts used soap in the bathtub, even accidentally drops a toothbrush into the toilet, then quickly fishes it out and puts it back. After setting everything up, he brings a body double. covers her upper body, and rushes past the reporters. The crowd is completely overwhelmed with excitement. Everyone is convinced they just saw Sienna. At the same time, a reporter bribes a hotel staff member, sneaks into Sienna's room, collects the clothes the director left behind, picks up the soap he used, lies on the bed she slept in, touches the toilet she used, and even kisses the toothbrush that fell into the toilet. At that moment, he feels unbelievably close to Sienna. Not long after, studio executives find the director, demanding Sienna appear on a talk show to promote the film. With no choice, he agrees, but insists it has to be a remote interview. The executives eventually give in. When the interview starts, the director just uses a desert as a virtual background and controls everything Sienna says.
At my own grabbing ceremony, I didn't touch any of the items placed in front of me. Instead, I crawled straight to my grandfather and yanked the jade pendant from his waist. The entire room fell silent instantly, because that jade pendant represented the power of the entire family. But they didn't know that I was actually someone who had been reborn. In my previous life, my father cheated with a scheming woman, and even had an illegitimate son with her. From that moment on, I became the unnecessary person in this family. No matter how hard I tried, I could never gain my father's approval until I was eventually murdered by the scheming woman and her son. Perhaps heaven pitied me and allowed me to be reborn in my mother's womb. In this life, I decided to change the fate of both my mother and myself. My mother and the scheming woman went into labor at the same time, but my father stayed only by the scheming woman's side. In anger, I did a 360-degree flip inside the womb. Just as the doctor had finished changing into surgical clothes, the next second, I delivered myself. I didn't let my mother suffer, even a bit of pain. The medical staff were shocked by what they saw. They all said I was a child born to repay kindness. Meanwhile, the scheming woman screamed in pain for an entire day and night. In the end, she was pushed into the emergency room and barely managed to give birth to a son, but she insisted on staying in the same hospital room as my mother. When my grandfather heard that the scheming woman had given birth to a boy, he happily came to visit. But the moment the boy saw him, he suddenly started crying loudly. No matter how the scheming woman tried to comfort him, he kept crying nonstop. Seeing this, my grandfather became extremely irritated, so he turned around and came to see my mother and me instead. The moment I saw him, I showed an innocent smile. That very smile instantly drove away his irritation. Happily, he gave me the calligraphy brush he carried with him. Right at that moment, a nurse brought a towel to wipe my body. So I grabbed the brush and casually made a few strokes on the towel. A magnificent ink landscape painting instantly appeared clearly on the towel. When my grandfather saw it, he excitedly held me in his arms and said that I was a once-in-a-century genius in the family. But this scene made the scheming woman extremely jealous. She believed I had taken away the affection meant for her son, so she pretended to be kind and brought over a bowl of tonic with something added to it. She said it was specially prepared to nourish my mother's body. My kind-hearted mother did not refuse her goodwill. Before I could react, she had already taken a sip. I hurriedly knocked the bowl of medicine over and immediately started crying loudly, but I was still a step too late. Soon, I fell into a deep sleep. Just when I was about to fall into despair, my grandfather came to see me again. My eyes instantly lit up. I used all my strength to cry out loudly. When my grandfather saw this scene, he instantly felt that something was wrong. He immediately ordered the hospital to investigate the real reason for my loud crying. Seeing this, the scheming woman tried to sneak away, but my grandfather had already noticed her. The next second, the doctor brought the test report. What awaited the scheming woman was my grandfather's endless fury. At my own grabbing, the athlete deliberately
What? Hmm. Hey. Hey.
Ay, yeah.